atrocities and all of that would have to be attributed to genetics also, right? That would be the problematic part of it.
I'm saying though, Logic, hold on. Even if, let's say we found out, because I'm not saying it's 100% genetic, but let's say we found out the reason what happened with Shepard's just example, why West Africans didn't have two-story buildings. Let's say we found out that was genetic, right? My point is, like, I think human beings are smart enough today not to use that as demagoguery. You see what I'm saying?
I don't trust. Yeah, I don't trust. I don't trust giving up that much ground.
My question is, like, if we found out, let's say me and you was the only two that found out that was true, right? We somehow, me and you, Logic, we found out it was true, right? I don't think it would be a good idea not to say that. Just because, I think we're missing out on. I think we might be missing out on other things because we're scared because somebody don't use that as demagoguery. Yeah. Somebody's gonna use that to dehumanize Black folks. You know what I'm saying?
What could we be missing out on potentially?
Suppress the truth because of idiots. Go ahead.
So take Charles Murray for example, right? And Logic, my bad. Betty always say, did you read the book? Right? He didn't make those assessments in the book. The fact that he put it out there and then subsequent writings, he started talking about why throwing money at the situation as far as better schools wasn't going to help those niggas. You dig what I'm saying? So it ain't about what you write initially. It's the shit that comes afterwards. It's the conclusions that you make or the inferences that you draw off of that. You dig what I'm saying? So in that book, no, he just laid out the framework for the conversation. And then in later works, he started talking about why allocating money to, or throwing money at Black education wasn't going to solve the problem. Because obviously it's something else going on. You dig what I'm saying? So that's when that shit becomes a problem. You know what I mean? So it ain't, I hear what you're saying. You dig what I'm saying about being scared of it? Yo, if it's human nature, bro, just know that that's in the game. You dig what I'm saying? And to think that people ain't going to use that shit just because you wouldn't do it. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
It ain't everybody. You know what I mean? And powerful people are definitely, you got to watch out for them. You know what I mean? Because we ain't in the conversation.
So I'm a little, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm naive about humans, obviously. I got more.
You're optimistic.
I have more belief in humans than I should have been. Is that what you're basically saying?
No, you're more optimistic about if a person given a choice, they won't choose to go the other direction. If you give them a proper choice and they can make a proper decision, they'll do something else.
What are you suggesting that we?
Right there. That was it.
What are you suggesting that we missing out on by not embracing this as true?
Now that I wouldn't know, so I'm not smart enough to know that. But I'm saying like there could be a possibility that we're missing out on something. When we don't actually acknowledge the real deal. You know what I'm saying? So because the truth, I think we're gonna always win by telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that, the two-story building thing is true. I'm just saying, like, if it is, I think we will win in the long run by understanding it, rather than scaring it. But I'm seeing what Brass is saying and Chevron is saying, like, humans, history showed humans to be irresponsible with shit like that. So I guess we just don't want to deal with it because
Plato acknowledged that. Plato acknowledged that what held society together in ancient Greece were noble lies, right? Like the noble lies is what kept society together, not the truths. You feel me? Like at the end of the day, maybe having one or two that work in our favor could be, to our advantage too. To be completely honest with you, because they use the noble lives to work in their favor. I'll just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Because if that were the truth of it, I'm in so much I'm in so much distrust about what they could do with it that it's better off misunderstood then, because if that's the truth, we can't trust humans. Just can't. Certainly not the people in power. Like we just can't.
No, and that's
I'm
the
saying,
last thing
I
you
ain't
just
mad.
said. The
I'm not
last thing you
mad
just
about
said
nobody.
makes sense. I agree with Corey though. The last part of what you said is what makes sense. I do have faith in humans, but I have absolutely no faith in any humans in power. So whereas the average human might jump on and take full advantage of something, they might do it in a small way where it'll benefit them, but it won't necessarily hurt you. But when you talk about somebody that's doing the housing, the financing, the stuff based on census reports, and they making these sweeping decisions, those the motherfuckers I'd be concerned about them right there. So the average person, whether they made a good or bad decision, it might not affect you. But a goddamn motherfucker in charge of HUD housing, we got to be really concerned about what the fuck decision he'll make.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Charles Murray, ironically, I think if I'm not mistaken, I've read that Charles Murray actually he's been cited on the Senate floor like a lot of times. If I'm not mistaken, they actually have had
him or his book.
Huh?
Him or his book?
It just said him. It said him. Okay. It didn't say necessarily his book. But I have heard that they've considered his writings in policies, and like so he's
really?
Yes, that's what ChatGPT said. So apparently, whereas in academia he might not be very popular, he actually might be. He might have some sort of popularity or not even say legitimacy, but they don't just disregard him in politics. But I just leave it at that. So that's another example of how you can't you just can't let that circulate.
No, because you got people like the Heritage Foundation that likes Charles Murray, that's involved in politics, right? So
yes,
Amway and all of them.
You look at some of the stuff that Charles Murray suggests, like getting rid of some of these startup programs and maybe throwing money at some stuff, and then you look at what the Heritage Foundation actually did. It kind of eerie.
Let me give you some clarity, Logic. So he hasn't been cited. There's no documented evidence of him being cited in the congressional record. But as far as policy influence, this is interesting. It says Charles Murray's work, particularly his 1984 book Losing Ground, did contribute to shaping the policy environment in the 90s. It says Murray's writings served as one basis for the welfare reform policies enacted by Congress under the leadership of Newt Gingrich that signed into law by President Clinton. Now that I was aware of, Clinton and Murray, they have that's usually the political connection I see mainly. But listen to what they did, right? So the legislation was called the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act of 1996, which replaced the Aid to Families with Dependent Children program with the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families block grant system. But look at what they put in there, right? So the key elements based on Murray and Clinton's work where they imposed a 5-year lifetime limit on federal welfare benefits. They introduced work requirements for the recipients, and they began to promote self-sufficiency, reducing dependency, encouraging two-parent families, and discouraging out-of-wedlock births. So while he wasn't formally quoted in legislative debates, his argument that welfare disincentivizes work and family formation, it helped shape the prevailing policy ethos in the mid-90s.
Still dangerous. Still way too much influence for a weirdo to have. That's why, you know what I'm saying? So like yeah, even if even if they're slightly off, you know what I'm saying? You can't let that fester into no type of reality
If I'm
because
not mistaken,
look what
Clinton
could happen.
regretted that. If I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
Clinton regretted that later.
Mm.
I remember having that conversation with Fetty. I think Clinton regretted his something in regards to Charles Murray or the bell curve. I'm looking that up real quick. Because somebody else told me it was used in politics, but I remember Clinton backing off from Charles Murray, or was that him?
Man.
Okay, so he said he did the country a great service. I mean, he and I often disagree, but I think his analysis is essentially right. There's no question that it worked, but the question is it morally right?
Mm.
I never liked Bill Clinton.
Dang, Bill.
He said he did the country a great service. What the fuck you mean by that? Be specific. Did the country a great service doing what?
Right. Which when
And then he
when
said,
he says
he's more. Then he said that he was essentially right. What does the fuck he mean? Did the country a great?
Right. He's trying to. That's basically like Bill Clinton say he's scientifically he correct. That's what he's saying. And he's saying he may not proceed with it because of the morals. You know what I'm saying, but he feel like the man scientifically correct based on that statement.
That's wild. He did the country a great service. Hold on, Clinton.
That's crazy.
Okay, so he said Clinton meant that Murray forced the nation to confront uncomfortable truths about how welfare policy might unintentionally encourage dependency rather than lifting people out of poverty. He said that Clinton thought his critique shook up the complacency of policymakers and got people talking about reform versus regular welfare. And he said he was essentially right in saying that the welfare system in the 70s and 80s wasn't working as intended.
Maybe they was talking about
Well,
like
that's what he was right about.
as it was in the 70s, right?
That's the next sentence, Corey.
Okay.
That's the very next sentence. It says that Murray was essentially right in identifying that the welfare system as it stood in the 70s and 80s wasn't working as intended. Yep. Yep, that's exactly what he said. He said reform was needed because in the 70s and 80s, they weren't promoting work, personal responsibility, and family stability. He just said that he questioned the morality of Murray's more extreme policy prescriptions because Murray wanted to get rid of welfare entirely.
Lord. Yeah, that's Charles Murray, wild dude, bro.
Lord.
That's a wild boy.
But see, now Clinton, what you don't know about Clinton, though, a lot of people don't know this. Democrats, why they are for welfare, Clinton was he wanted to end. He tried to do that in Arkansas. He was trying to end welfare as we know it. So he wasn't like a big welfare supporter, and it was because of what he saw happening in the 70s and 80s in his own town. Clinton was a different dude, bro. Clinton was a very different dude than most Democrats at that time.
You know, y'all like Clinton.
I was too young. I was like 9. He was entertaining, and I stayed up and watched him on Senior Hall.
Yo, that
I
shit
never
was
really. Mm-hmm.
I thought it was cool that he admitted that he got a blowjob in the White House.
I thought he was about as close to white America at the time. The unabashed arrogance.
Hugh Hefner type.
Mm-hmm. They all wanted to be him. But I think where Clinton made some mistakes was Clinton was about as Republican or Democrat I've ever seen. Not in his words, but in his actions. He was very conservative.
And Biden is too.
Yeah. And not in his words. In his words, you'll think he's an extreme liberal, but in a lot of his actions, he was very conservative.
Yeah, Biden is too. Biden fooled a lot of these people. He did fool me.
Yeah.
These niggas
Anybody?
these motherfuckers got track records that we tend to overlook when they say a few lines that make you go ooh, or somebody black support him. Barack Obama didn't move me when he said if you don't vote for Biden or you're doing a disservice, and he didn't move me when he said the same shit about Kamala Harris. Fuck her.
You know the funny thing is, Sabio? Every time, it's like when you critique anybody in the when we do, because a lot of people that watch the shows are conscious community, but they always, whenever we talk about Kamala Harris, it's like the overall sentiment, we all basically feel the same, but it's just a few people with microphones. It's like when you say it, it's like, oh, don't say that, you know, this, that, and other. But it's like those people have no idea this lady's mentality, bro. None. You have no idea what she was gonna do. None.
No, of the hatred that she held towards black men,
Oh
the
my
anger
God.
black
You talking
men,
about somebody that hated black men. He hated black men.
black men. And they wonder why she didn't get my support because of that. Wish I would. I know that lady's track record.
She'll throw your ass in jail. She don't care if the DNA say you ain't do it.
You
She
ain't
gonna
doing
fight.
it.
She don't care.
She was locking niggas up.
Don't care.
They called her
Don't
Killer.
care.
Her nickname was Killer Kamala.
Yeah. I remember she said, she was like, I would be celebrated for the things I was doing if I was a man. Hell no. I remember when Biden, I saw that fucking video of Biden talking about super predators and throw their ass in jail and all that shit. I don't forget shit like that. Because when you do shit like that, that's what you mean. That's that right
definitely
there.
what you mean.
Yeah, when we catch you saying something like that, don't say that you don't feel that way no more. That's how you still feel. Trust me.
Right.
Trust me.
You might be smart enough to word it different, but you definitely still feel like that.
Yeah. Clinton, people forget they didn't know what he meant when he said he was a new Democrat. Clinton didn't really frame himself as like the old ones. He didn't want big government. His welfare, that fucking crime bill wasn't democratic.
Not at all.
That NAFTA agreement wasn't democratic. That shit wasn't liberal. That was about as Republican as it gets. That's about as conservative as you could be. Yeah.
So conservative.
That damn NAFTA, trying to move every goddamn thing. Come on, man. He was radical for his time. I think he was more right. I would say he was more center right in his practices than most what's the names at the time. And you got to remember that same 94 crime bill, that's Biden and him too. I remember
Biden and Clinton. You said that's Biden and Clinton?
Yeah, the 94 crime bill. Fucking Biden was one of the key authors of that shit.
Yeah, I know Biden was. I didn't know Clinton had something to do with it.
Yeah, crime, but they both was involved. When before what's the name was the reason when Biden was the reason why they got close to the with the credit card companies. When everybody just started filing bankruptcy in like the early 2000s, Biden was the one that he sided with the card companies and made it almost impossible for you to get off that debt.
Remember, shit, huh?
Yeah, remember he voted for the Iraq War. He was a full supporter of that shit.
He must have made a bag off of it then.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did.
I'm telling you, a lot of those guys.
That's crazy. Now that I see how it works, yo. Now that I see how it works, it's kind of horrible, but it is what it is.
Why do you think Chef said
put us in the war just to go buy some stocks? These dudes wild.
Here. I was gonna give him a motherfucking round of applause when he said that shit about lobbying the other day. And I was gonna dare somebody to motherfucking give him some pushback on that statement. He called Shaw. I forgot what he said. Remember when okay, my fault. Remember somebody was talking about lobbyists the other day? What the fuck did you say? Was it Reggie that said something about lobbying? And you said bunch of fucking crooks or some shit like that? Yeah. That means you have a full understanding of lobbying, bro. That shit is
you paying for
100% criminal.
Yeah, you paying motherfucking legislation.
Literally.
Like, that's fucking crazy. That shit should be illegal.
It is.
Yeah, when you describe lobbying top to bottom, it does not sound good.
It has no fucking parameters. And the shit that they're doing is blatantly illegal. I mean, blatant. They're not even.
It kind of locks out anybody who can't compete. You know,
it
money.
locks anybody out that's doing it the legal way.
Right.
If you're doing it the legal way, it's no point. They don't even come and talk to you.
We talking about a politician doing it the legal way.
Yeah, why? Like if the politician is like really, matter of fact, if a politician is going too hard against lobbying or going against lobbying too much, they'll get your ass out of there. Straight up. That's why like Sanders and all of them.
They go Jamal Bowman and Corey Bush your ass.
Yeah, you out of there. You out of there. You better play along, nigga. They'll tell you that's basically what they telling you. Nigga, you know the game. Fuck around with you. And if you go around and fuck around and snitch on your fellow congressman, that's your ass. You out of there. You'll never be reelected.
Yeah. Jamal Bowman thought it was a game. Like, no, they spent more money on his ass, getting his ass out of there than they ever spent on getting their ass out of there. Him and Corey Bush. Like, both of you niggas got to go. You niggas in here on some other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey, Corey, it ain't. And the funny thing is, people think that they spent the money on there to get him out of there, but that's just part of it. They made them two motherfuckers an example of what happens when you try to engage in that same language. The lengths that these motherfuckers will go.
Get your ass primary. Get your ass primary. God damn it. The worst thing you can hear as a congressperson, huh? They funding something against me, huh? What? And here you is with small dollar donations. You asking everybody for $5, bro. Listen, that ain't gonna get it. That ain't gonna get it. The $5 donations is gonna have your ass in the unemployment office.
Yo, by the time you find out, that's literally the response. Wait a minute, who they funding? And you can't even, because mind you, you've been running on this man of the people, every dollar counts fucking campaign. It's a motherfucker that just stepped in the door with a couple million. Every call you make, they call that same house 15 times. You can't win, bro. You can walk the blocks. You can walk and knock on each door all you want. They got 1,000 niggas in your neighborhood picking up every sign you put down.
Right, as soon as you put it down, they come right behind you, pick it up.
Bro, it'd be y'all know the campaign trail.
I've seen that. I've definitely seen that. Because my family used to do campaign trails, bro. I would hear about all the rumblings about, man, they tearing down the signs on such and such street. That's a real thing.
Bro, but the worst election I've ever heard of, I wasn't a part of it, but my dad was Sharp James and motherfucking Cory Booker, bro. Oh my God. That shit was so bad they made a movie about it. Cause it was like Cory Booker would walk to town and like the firemen would call fire hazards every time he put a sign down, they'd be like, yeah, this is making the neighborhood dirty, you're littering. They was giving them tickets for littering, for putting up campaign signs. They would literally drive behind him when he would leave a house and pick up the signs in front of him.
That's bold. because it's
They
illegal.
were dumping garbage. They didn't pick up the garbage at his motherfucking headquarters on Broad Market. They would pick up the garbage 2 stores down and 2 stores the other way and leave the goddamn garbage in front of his motherfucking. Bro, when I tell you, Sharp James was
All of that's
very,
illegal, so you gotta be bold.
every
You gotta have everybody in your pocket to do all of that. Man. You cutting up.
No, Sharp James, because you got to remember Sharp James. Just look up Sharp James when you got a chance. I think every place had a mayor like that, where all the firemen got their jobs because of him. All the daycares got all the people that's entrenched in the community is there because of him. So nobody could ever beat him. And then this Yale graduate moved to the projects and motherfucker ran for mayor. He lost the first time. He won the second time, mainly because of real estate scandal. But campaigning ain't no joke. But you can't try to buck the system, bro. You got to let them people get their money. You got to lobbying, bro. Even the Supreme Court gets lobbied. Everybody gets lobbied. It's an open racket. It's like an open air drug market in DC. And you better not be the motherfucker trying to turn states evidence, nigga.
And that's one of the most non-beneficial things to Black people yet is money in politics, lobbying, and the campaign finance. All of that is one of the worst things that ever happened to Black people because no real movements get done. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, nothing and when the people's business don't get took care of, the Black community suffers the worst. So that's one of my biggest gripes to get money out of. You know what I mean? Most of them is a bunch of fucking crooks. You know what I mean? I like my man though out there where Brad, my man Zoran. I think he's making a noise.
Yeah, he gonna fuck around.
He's gonna get money out of politics. I think he's gonna help politicians, at least politicians who go to do the people's work, right? I think at least he's gonna help them be more motivated. They don't feel kind of defeated. You know what I mean? I think before Zoran, I think those grassroots movements felt kind of defeated or whatever. But you know, I think he do a good job of educating that community too. Like going out to the community and educating them on his policy. And that way that community don't have to hear from Fox News what his policy is. Well, he's gonna make all the buses free. It's like, bro, we paying for the buses anyway. I don't understand why the fuck I gotta pay for them 2 times anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, he want to give everything free. No, he want to give people a quality of life is what he want to do. When he explains it to you, he's trying to give you a quality of life. Paid family leave, which polls at 87%, right? Access to healthcare, a cap on rents and shit like that. All of this shit that actually matters to the people. You know what I'm saying? He went out to the streets and told them to their face. And I think that's a good lesson to future politicians, right? Don't think that other people are having a good faith argument or a good faith campaign. You go out and you talk to the people in their face. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I have to say about that. But shout out to Zoran, man.
Yeah, the thing about him is he's aligned with the DCA, and a lot of the DCA's policies are just a little problematic. So if he distances himself from the DCA, I think he'll do a little bit. He'll do a little bit better. But some of his crime shit, especially in New York, I just don't like. I don't like it at all. And he's saying now that he got where he's at, he's moving away from DCA a little bit. But some of that shit don't make sense to me. And then some of the shit that he's trying to decriminalize, like his decriminalizing shit is a little I don't know, Corey. If I was in New York, I wouldn't be with that shit. But apparently they like them. So
when they decriminalized marijuana in my city, in my state, right now it's not legal or nothing like that, but it's decriminalized, right? Um, that kept so many kids from having a record. It allows so many kids to be able to go to college. You know how many kids that got a marijuana charge? One of my homies, Cedric Moody, one of the best basketball players I ever seen. Should have been in the NBA. Should have went to the NBA. If Lee Naylor went to the Charlotte Hornets, Cedric Moody should have went to the goddamn Chicago Bulls, right? In the 90s, right? He was, you know, he had to go in the two, you know, he played overseas a little bit, but his opportunity was missed because he had a funky, he got caught with a joint. You know what I'm saying? He was sitting on his porch with his homies, and they were smoking a joint, and the police ran up on him. Their neighbors called the police on him because they were talking loud, and you know what I'm saying? It just ruined. So, like, some shit, I mean, fine, you can do. I don't know that we just make everything a free for all, right? But I don't know that we give a kid a criminal record behind possession of a marijuana joint. You know what I'm saying? For the rest, and now that follows him and determines the rest of his life for a marijuana joint. When we all know one thing about kids and teenagers and high school kids, one thing we know is they gonna smoke a joint. They gonna drink a beer. We know that for a fact. Every last one of us done it. You know what I'm saying? And now we ruining lives over some shit that we all gonna do and we all done. You know what I'm saying? So I think decriminalizing certain things. Now I'm not saying like let motherfuckers go and do heroin. I'm saying like give them a place to go and do that shit because they gonna do it anyway. I mean, when did people stop doing heroin? Name a day when they stopped, when everybody quit doing heroin. So they gonna do it anyway. So like, instead of just criminalizing everything is one answer. Just lock them up, lock everything up, lock them. And it ain't benefiting. That ain't benefiting nobody but the people who invest in the prison industrial system. You know what I'm saying? The wardens at the prison and the people who his financial investors who he got a fiduciary responsibility to. And when you have a fiduciary responsibility, guess what, Brad? If you a prison owner, if you're the CEO of a prison, that means you have a fiduciary responsibility to your investors. So in order to realize your responsibility, niggas got to get locked up. See what I'm saying? So like, I mean, making everything a crime is not good. Now, having penalties and repercussions for things you do, right? That's a whole nother thing. I don't think some guy out on the corner who got a heroin bag, a nickel bag of heroin in his pocket, need to go to prison. I don't think that's what he needs. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. You know what I mean?
But my thing is ain't the drug offenses. Mine is the he's trying to make getting a DUI not a crime. You know, being a prostitute not a crime. Like certain things.
No, prostitution should be legal. Prostitution should be legal.
That's fine. He's trying to no. There's one thing for decriminalizing it and making it legal. If you make it legal, then you're solving the public health issue, and then you bring in their revenue to New York City. But that's one thing. But if you just saying you're not making it legal and you decriminalizing prostitution, then all you doing is just fucking inviting all the fucking sex traffickers to come to New York City. The second thing is the DUI. DUI should always be a crime.
Well, why ain't the sex traffickers went to Las Vegas?
No, because it's legalized. You got to actually get a license. You got to do that. Yeah, I'm saying if you just but if you decriminalize it, but you don't make it legal, it's still a crime. It's just the punishment. You know what I'm saying? Like the punishment ain't. You know, it's like a revolving door. So if that's the case, I mean, we got the most people on any given weekend. So just fucking come here, go to jail once or twice, fuck about 50, 80 people on a weekend, and call it a day and do the shit all over again. So I'm saying make it legal. I'm where you at. But don't not make it legal, but then decriminalize the shit. And if you're talking about decriminalizing DUIs, you on a slippery slope. You on a real slippery
if he talk about that, I'm
yeah,
all for
yeah. He wants to
decriminalize
DUI. Yeah. Yeah. So and then to see out here, one of the things we got, you remember we got on that big issue with Rikers Island. So we got to be real careful about, you know, if you trying to make policy just to ease up stressors in your system, then it's better to focus on why you have those stresses in the system than just trying to reduce the amount of people going to jail. Because you got to remember, DCA, they're for, you know, their whole policy is end all misdemeanors. That's the DSA. I'm sorry. Their whole thing is you don't enforce any misdemeanors.
To me, a lot of misdemeanors is just a racket. Misdemeanor crimes is a racket to me. You know what I'm saying?
But DUI is a misdemeanor. You know that, right?
No, DUI is a felony in Indiana.
No,
I don't know.
Out here, it's a misdemeanor. Driving while intoxicated, assault without a weapon, drug possession.
That's a felony here in Maryland.
That's a felony here where I'm at. Yeah,
that's crazy.
You're looking at prison time.
Yeah, that's
it's not. No, you're not looking at prison time here.
Oh, that's crazy.
So, but that Democratic Socialists of America. You know, DSA. Them motherfuckers believe all misdemeanors should be decriminalized and into all of them because they think it's like what you just said. That is just a racket. Like two people getting into a fight.
And DUIs, I think, well, you know, you said DUIs is a misdemeanor in New York, but I'm saying like the misdemeanors here ain't nothing but a racket. You go down, I got a ticket one day. I got a ticket a few years ago, bro. I went down to court, bro. That motherfucker is at traffic court. It's traffic. We got our traffic court is mixed in with the misdemeanor court, so we call it traffic and misdemeanor court. I don't know if everybody does that, but that's how we do it here where I'm at from, right? It's traffic.
They getting over on people. It's like, yo, they robbing citizens. Like
bro,
that shit don't make sense, yo.
It's a misdemeanor.
It's an arm of revenue. It's an arm of revenue is all it is. You see what I'm saying? Reggie gave me that terminology the other day, and I really love that terminology. Arm of revenue. But that's what misdemeanors is. I was down there in the courtroom, Brass and Chef, right? It's full, packed. It's not even standing room in this bitch. All poor and black people. If they white, if they in there white, they poor. If they in there other than white and poor, they black. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, there's no standing room in there. And all of them, they didn't pay a fine, or they jaywalked, or, you know, they rolled through a stop sign, or and all these charges is full of bullshit charges, bro.
And they gotta pay court costs. They gotta pay court costs and all that shit. Yo, they just running up money. Philadelphia and Philly, they should fucking riot, yo. Like, yo, the shit that they do, man. Listen, oh my God, Baltimore is horrible, but Philly, yo, like, they don't even want niggas to drive. Like, yo, because in most of those areas, right, in the residential areas, yo, these people, yo, is no parking signs on the whole street. Like, that makes no fuck. So when I come in from grocery shopping, yo, how do I get my groceries from my car to my house if I'm living on streets where y'all got 3 no parking signs? You feel me? And then say if somebody else have company over their house, then they taking up the street parking. So I'm double parking just trying to get my groceries in the house I'm getting tickets. I'm getting told. Like, yo, I can't even afford to pay this shit. You feel me? That's why most people from here would rather catch the train to Philly than to drive up that bitch, because Pennsylvania done lost their motherfucking minds. You feel me? Like, yo, the shit that they do to those people, yo, that they, matter of fact, if y'all ever watch Parking Wars, Philadelphia is the worst, one of the worst fucking cities on that fucking show. On Parking Wars, yo, it's fucking nuts, yo, what they do to people, yo. It's a racket. That shit is a racket, yo. Oh, this speed light camera. Yo.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
Speed light cameras. You look at the neighborhoods that they put them shits in. You feel me? White people in my neighborhood, right? I live right across from a Jewish neighborhood, right? We had a speed light, right, 3 blocks over near my community. When they tried to put one up in the Jewish community, the Jews motherfucker almost rioted over that shit. And they took that shit the fuck down. You feel me? But they kept that shit in the black people need to fucking argue about that, because the Jews know, no, y'all targeting us. You know what I mean? Why would you put a speed light camera in our neighborhood? You're basically targeting us. You know what I mean? You're trying to get motherfucking money out of us. That shit ain't, man, it's crazy.
It's extortion.
It's extortion.
They extorting.
And poor people don't go to their local meetings and shit when they discuss this shit. You feel me? So when those shits get put in our communities, most people don't even know, yo, you should have went to the motherfucking the meeting. You know what I mean? Y'all could have said something about that shit. Cause they tell you before they gonna do it. They even tell you where they gonna put speed bumps and all of that shit. You can ask for it or you can fight against it. But most black people don't be fucking knowing. Most poor people, I'ma say, don't be fucking knowing. And they the ones who bear the brunt of
we fought for a damn speed
times.
bump. We fought for a speed bump in my community because I live in a school
and
district,
where
right?
your kids play at, right?
And no, the high school kids get out of when they get out of school, these motherfuckers going wild. You know what I'm saying? Driving up and down, you know how you do in high school and shit. It's a bunch of wild ass shit. So we got a speed bump put in because of the damn high school kids acting crazy as fuck. But yeah.
DUI is a misdemeanor in y'all state too, both of y'all.
And you go to jail for that here.
Maybe you do, but it's still a misdemeanor. In Indiana,
Is it a misdemeanor?
In Indiana, it's not called a DUI; it's called a OWI, operating while intoxicated.
Yeah.
It says it's a Class C misdemeanor, up to 60 days in jail. $500
so OWI is different than a DUI here in Indiana.
No, y'all use it in the place of DUI. Y'all don't have DUIs. So it's OWI instead of. It doesn't become a felony until your second offense within 7 years. In Indiana and in Maryland, it's still DUI. And it is your first offense is a misdemeanor. Your second offense is a misdemeanor. But in the second offense, it escalates to a felony if there's an injury or death involved. So that's really what they mean by economic wings or economic arms. What they mean is that, and that's what that's the whole socialist point of view is, y'all you're already taxing the poor, you're already hard on the poor, and then now what you're going to do is you're going to get the last little bit. And Philly should that Parking Wars ponytail. That's my nigga on Parking Wars ponytail in Philly. You're already doing it, and then now you're just milking them for the last little bit by putting a boot on their car and ignorant shit like that. Now they can't get to work. You putting them in a trick bag. They got to get to work to pay you, but they can't drive because they got all these tickets, or they end up losing their license. And so it gets a little crazy. But I still think DUIs, there should be higher punishment for DUIs rather than lower punishment. I don't think you should lower the punishment for DUI.
No, I always thought that shit was a motherfucking felon. Cause they
Yeah, nah.
slam niggas here over that shit. But I agree with it though. Like, nigga, you can't be driving
Yeah.
no motherfucking car and kill some
Yeah, nah,
motherfuckers.
my
Like,
kids
you,
about to be
nigga.
on the road, nigga. My
Like,
kids
fuck
is
you.
about to be on the road. I'm not trying to accommodate a motherfucker because he don't know how to drink at his house.
Yeah, fuck you, nigga. You the one who decided to motherfucking drink and get behind the wheel of a car. I don't have no remorse for your dumb ass. At all. At all. Fuck that. They need to make that shit a motherfucking felon. Because motherfuckers need to get that shit through their fucking head.
Yeah, they be wiping niggas out. Like the worst thing in the world is them court shows and them YouTube shows. It is crazy. It's always. I mean, I ain't trying to be racist, but it's usually a white young woman or a white young boy. They in the jail talking about when can I go home? They all fucked off. I hate this. Why you keeping me here? And then the cop tell you, like, you killed 2 motherfuckers, right? Like, like, I know we're inconveniencing you, but you killed 2 people tonight. Oh, you didn't know that. And then they start to crying and all that bullshit. Hell no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No excuse. Everybody, you should not get behind the wheel intoxicated. You should know better.
Yeah, but you under the influence, so you don't know better. You feel me? So it's like almost a catch-22. A bar sit there and let you drink until you stumbling. You dig what I'm saying? Like, so it's almost like, yo, is bars committing the crime with you? You feel me? Like, what's going on here? Shouldn't just one person be held accountable for that shit? Because if they're under the influence of that, then it means something about their judgment is off already. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, come on now. Like, how is it just going to be on a person that's impaired? If they're impaired, then that means that their judges, their judgment, and their reflexes is not, you know what I mean, up to par at this time. So, what do we do about that, Brass?
No, it is crazy, but I think, like, for me, if I was a politician or if it was my choice, DUIs would be a very stiff penalty clause. It would be a very there's certain. I would eliminate a lot of misdemeanors because I agree with Court. Traffic court ain't nothing but a poor person's debit card. It's a poor person's ATM for the government. The shit they doing in Philly, how they police them people, they just drive through neighborhoods, boot niggas' cars, and all kind of shit. It's out of control. But the thing is, what they don't show you in Philly, they make it so hard for you to be able to get a fucking parking spot. Like, you gotta park damn near 3 blocks away just to go home. And it ain't the safest neighborhood to be walking through when you get off work. So the DUIs, I would never, because you're an adult. That's an adult. You're an adult at that point. You know better. You just choosing to do something else. And then you rolling the dice, but you rolling the dice with good drivers, bad drivers, child drivers, aggressive drivers. And usually with the DUIs, is like, motherfuckers end up dead because your response time. You don't even swerve a little bit out the way. Them just head-on collisions, full-on knockouts. What y'all niggas on? But when you finishing your what's the name show, Chef? On Ballad of the Bullet. No, y'all niggas done. Logic, you don't need nobody for tonight, correct? Oh, y'all niggas all gone. I'm in this bitch talking to myself.